The next is, we'll move to the next point here. Now we come to the investment. So we have understood what is the risk from an investor point of view, the ability and the willingness. And there are also a lot of questionnaires available where you can identify your ability and willingness. There are standard questionnaires. I'm sure Ramalingam sir must be also doing that exercise with you. So all that you can definitely understand from that. Now we'll come to the risk in investments. When it comes to risk in investments, one, obviously, we are all, as somebody said, safety of money, right? I don't want to lose my investments. That is where I always say, because many people ask me this question. In most of the investor awareness program when we conduct, many people ask, should I invest in cooperative banks? I get a higher interest, right? Should I invest in this bonds, corporate bonds, which are giving a very high interest? I mean, question is always understand what is the safety of your money. Will I get back my principal at least? See, the rule is simple. Wherever there is a higher return, there is an element of risk. I will not say outright high risk. There is an element of risk. We need to understand. Why do you think a State Bank FD is giving only 6.5 or whatever it is, the present rate, right? Why is that the cooperative bank is giving a higher rate? The answer is there is an element of risk, right? So whether you want that risk or not, you have to be clear. The next is, if you are investing in an asset class, the volatility in returns is going to be there, especially asset class like equity. Obviously, the returns are going to be volatile. And you have to consider this liquidity. For example, if I block my money in a real estate, liquidity may not be easy, right? Especially many of them invest in plot of lands. They might have got good returns. Yes, it is a source of getting higher returns, no doubt about it. But the question is, you have some other issues related to it, right? One is somebody taking control of that land, or probably when you want money, you may not be able to sell, or you may not get that desired price, right? So all those are important when it comes to investments, right? That's why we always say in simple terms, always remember this SLR: safety, liquidity, and then comes the return when it comes to investment. So always ask this question: is it safe? Is it liquid? Then you think of returns. Don't get into returns first and then go in a reverse order, right? So always remember this SLR to understand wherever you are investing, right? But in general, apart from these basic things, in general, when you are investing, what are the risks? One is, we call it as market risk, which is what makes the fluctuations in the return. Second is liquidity risk. We have seen that, right? In many of the corporate bonds, you don't have liquidity at all. You are locked for 5 years. You are locked for 3 years, whatever is the period. You may not be able to get back that money before that. So I need to be clear about the liquidity risk. Then I have what is called as credit risk, right? So what is the credit risk in a particular investment? I can understand by the rating of that bond. Yeah, credit risk is understood by the rating of the bond. For example, if it is a AAA bond, then it is safe, assumed to be safe, right? And then if it is a AA bond, then less safety, and so returns will go up. What is also important is, when it comes to a portfolio, concentration risk is very important. What is concentration risk? For example, a mutual fund would have built a portfolio in, let's say, equity or a debt fund, right? So what is the allocation they are giving to each sectors? For example, somebody might feel that because metals is doing well, I may allocate some 30%, right? So which means you are really having a very concentrated. You have some of those schemes where we call it as focused schemes, right? Where you are investing only in that 25 or 30 stocks. So which means my concentration is going to be higher, right? So if I have 50, 70 stocks, which is more diversified. So concentration risk is there. If your call goes wrong, then your entire portfolio can generate a negative return. So these are the risks when it comes to investment. Yeah, one is the market risk, which you don't have control, right? So I need to focus on what all I can control. Liquidity risk, credit risk, right? And concentration risk that you can control by investing in a more diversified portfolio, right? Now let us look at how do I understand an equity fund, right? First is, I will say there are some very simple ways of understanding mutual fund equity schemes. And if you are interested, we will talk something more technical also, because I didn't want to make it so technical that majority of you, if you stop enjoying it, then there is no point in talking. So I leave it to you. First, I will cover what are the simple ways of understanding. And if you are interested, we will talk about some technical things also. Yeah, that part I will leave it to you. So first is, for example, let me start by asking this question to each one of you. Let's say you want to invest in a equity fund, yeah, mutual fund scheme. How will you select it? We should look at return. So that is one aspect of it. So when I say return, what you should look at is, we call it as a rolling return. Yeah. What do I mean by this? Let me give a simple example. If I have taken this 1 year return, from April 2019 till 31st March 2020, we all know what would have happened, right? It would have given me a minus 40% kind of rate. Now, if I take that same 1 year return from 1st April 2020 till 31st March 2021, we would have got completely a different experience, right? Same 1 year return, given a point in time, it gives me a different experience, right? That is where never look at a point to point return, which is what will be given in the fact sheets. Never look at that return, because that point to point entirely depends on which interval you have chosen. So the first thing I will always say is never look at a point to point return. Now, then what is that I should look at? This is where I have said, look at this rolling return. What is a rolling return? Since the date when the scheme has been launched, I calculate a 1 year return. So which means if some scheme has launched on 1st April 2002, let's say. So I will calculate a 1 year rolling return from that day, 1st April 2002, till this date, 31st or 29th May 2021. Every day I'll be calculating a 1 year return and then take an average of all this. That is what will give me an idea was what is the average return I can expect it, right? So always, whenever you want to compare return, look at rolling return. Yeah, never look at point to point return. I just want to show you an example to explain my point. Just give me a minute. I will share some Excel file and again come back to this PPT again. Yeah, just give me a minute. See, this is exactly I was saying. See, there is a rolling return analysis of large cap funds. What we have done is from almost 2007, we have taken a 3-year rolling return. Now you can see here on the top, right? The average return is 14.5. A minimum is minus 6.5. Please look at this. Minimum return you have got is minus 6.5 over a 3-year period. So it has generated a negative return. The maximum it has given is 51. Same way, when I look at a 5-year rolling return, you can see the average is 13.6. But my minimum is only 1%. It has not given me negative return over a 5-year period. Somebody said, I choose large cap fund. This is exactly we try to convey here. When you choose a large cap fund, probably the risk of losing capital is very less. Only it has given minimum return is 1%. Whereas the maximum is only 26.3. See the difference in 3-year and 5-year. Somebody might be tempted here in 3 years 51, but you should also aware, boss, I have got a negative return. So the point here is return we don't have control. So this data helps me to understand, yes, I should come for long term. So if I come for long term, my probability of losing money might be less. And on an average, I can expect a 13%. Please also get this point. I want to highlight this point. There will be a period. So somebody, what will they say is, boss, I invested for the last 5 years. Your large cap fund has given me only 1% return. If I have put this money in a bank deposit, I would have got 6%. This is not the way to compare. You will experience all this when it comes to investments in equity, especially. So I need to accept this point. There will be periods where I will have negative return or low return. That is part of this. I cannot rule out that. So that is where we say you give a longer period. That's where I need to be very careful. What is the time horizon I'm going to give? Very, very important when it comes to equity fund. You have to give a longer time horizon for the simple reason these things will keep happening in the market. If you have seen as of April 20, then you would have seen that even the 5-year returns were negative. 7-year return became positive. So all this will happen when there is crashes in the market. But I should not get worried because I am very clear I have come here for a longer term. But you have to see all this. That's where I said, please always look at the rolling return. Very, very important to look at the rolling return. Yeah. The next is, let me again go back to the PPT. Just give me a minute. Yeah. So the rolling return, I gave an example. The next is that volatility. Volatility is the returns. We saw that, right? Minus 6.5 and then maximum is 51. So that is the volatility range, right? So the return can be anywhere from minus 6.5% to a maximum of 51% in a 3-year period. Similarly, the return can be anywhere between 1% to probably 26%. See the volatility, right? On an average, it has given 13, but the volatility. So that is what we need to understand. How volatile is that return, right? So if I want a less volatility, I have to go and see a factor called as standard deviation, right? So that volatility is measured by what we call it as standard deviation. So we need to check that to understand volatility. So if you want a less volatility, choose a fund with a lower volatility. Then what is important is, this is what I said, a simple statistics. Check whether that fund has beaten over a 10-year period the benchmark. If this fund has beaten the benchmark over a 10-year period, I need not look at anything. I'm not a deep promoter of ratings or rankings, right? For me, these things will keep changing on a yearly basis or whatever is the time period. So what do I mean by it? I might have invested in the number 1 ranking fund this year, right? But not necessarily it will be number 1 next year. And we have enough data with us starting from 2000, where the number 1 fund in 2000 is not nowhere to be seen in the next whatever 20 years, right? Same case repeats, right? History repeats. So that's where we should not give too much importance to ratings or rankings. I will go by the simple logic, but how it has done over a 10-year period. Why not 5-year? Why not 15 years? The answer is simple. Over a period of 10 years, at least you would have seen one up cycle and one down cycle. So that I can see overall how he has performed. So somebody who has done well over a period of 10 years, I will trust him. See, I'm still not saying he's the best fund, right? All I'm saying is, boss, I can trust him and give him some money. The question is, I'm looking at that average return of 11-12%. That is what I want. I'm not looking at some superlative performance. My goal will be achieved if I'm able to get 11-12%. So I will not get bothered whether he's in the top 5 ranking or top 10 rankings. I'll be very happy so long as he gives me that average return what I'm expecting. That is where, as an investor, sometimes we make a mistake. What is that mistake? We'll see, boss, who are the competitors, how much they are giving, why this guy is giving low. My competitor scheme in that same large cap category has given 25%. Your scheme is only giving 15%. I lost 11%. Never do this comparison, because his call would have gone right that time, and that's how he has given a performance, which is very short term. Even he cannot maintain that 26% year on year. Nobody can maintain that, right? Because you have seen that, right? The average performance comes down to 12-13%. So when the average is 12 to 13%, we call this as reversal to mean. That will happen. That's where never compare. So long as you're towards that average return, what you are expecting, that fund is fair enough. So when I'm selecting an equity fund, I will check what is his 10-year performance. And then the last point is concept of negative return. What it means is, because in worst case scenario, how much this fund has fallen. Just to console myself, because this is the worst thing I can expect from this fund. Just to give me that satisfaction, right? And also convince myself, even if the worst case scenario happens, I'm still okay with it, right? So for example, if you see in that March 2020, most of the funds have fallen by 29 to 40%, right? Market fell by 40%, but how much your fund fell? Somewhere anywhere between 29 to 40%. So that gives me an idea, even if market crashes by 40%, maybe I will make a loss of 30%. That's fine. So important to understand was what is that worst performance this fund has given, right? So this way I'll be able to at least shortlist the funds. So for me, I want to repeat this. When it comes to equity fund, I will check the rolling return, not the point-to-point return. Then I will understand what is the volatility return. If I don't want to take much risk, then I will see that this volatility is less, which means I will select a fund which has a standard deviation, lower standard deviation. Then there's active return, whether they have beaten the benchmark over a period of 10 years. That is where, just to give you this input, I'm not getting into it. The technical aspect comes here. So I will look at what is the risk adjusted return. In simple terms, I'll just give a simple example, right? Now, let's say there are two funds here, and one fund manager has generated 1 rupee of return by taking 10 paise risk. Yeah. And there is another fund manager who has also generated 1 rupee return, but he has taken 20 paise risk. Now you tell me, fund A is that guy who has generated 1 rupee with 10 paise risk, and fund B is the guy who has generated same 1 rupee but with 20 paise risk. Tell me whether you will choose fund A or fund B. Tell me, you will choose fund A or fund B. I'm making it very simple. Which fund you will choose? Yes, Ramalingam sir. Ramalingam sir? Yeah.
Yeah, waiting for that.
Yeah.
Fund A.
Yeah. So this is exactly
answered fund A.
Yeah, exactly. See, now it becomes so simple for you. The moment I gave this example, immediately you know which is the fund to select, right? So this is exactly what we do in technical terms called as Sharpe ratio. The same thing what I explained is covered under what is called as Sharpe ratio. So all I need to do here is I will select a fund which has a higher Sharpe ratio, because that tells me for the risk what he is taking, whether he is giving me a higher return or not. So when I'm looking at active returns, I will also look at what is the risk adjusted return. So in simple terms, I will just select a fund which has a higher Sharpe ratio, all being equal. Now his 10-year performance is good, right? The average return is good. Volatility is also less, but I have now 5 funds to choose. In that case, what I do here is I look at Sharpe ratio, whichever fund has a higher Sharpe ratio, but I'll go for it. I will allocate some money to it, right? So that is what I'll be doing when it comes to equity selection. Yeah. So I don't want to get into more other ratios. One, this ratio, which I have given a simple example. What is Sharpe ratio? The risk adjusted return. 1 rupee, both are generating 1 rupee. Somebody is taking a higher risk to generate that 1 rupee. That guy is supposed to generate more than 1 rupee. Yeah, that is what it means. For that risk you are taking, you should have given me more than 1 rupee. You are giving me just 1 rupee, then I will prefer the other guy. That's the logic. Yeah, that is all about risk adjusted return. And that is another factor which you should look at while selecting an equity fund.